Welcome to this new video in the series Chess Giants. Yeah, recently I had a game where Petrosian was the victim of a brutal attack by Bent Larsen. So I figured I should show a win of Petrosian's. And this is a very untypical game for Petrosian. He's very famous for his great positional grinds, those kind of long-winded, long games where he step by step takes away all kinds of play from the opponent and finally wins. He was a very fine prophylactic player, and he rarely had clear-cut attacking games, but sometimes it was really also happening in his chess. So this is one of the games where he actually managed to win quickly. I'm telling you that much, in case if you don't know the game. His opponent here is Ludek Pachman, a grandmaster originally from Czechoslovakia. He, however, left the country after he had problems with the left-wing regime there. He was protesting against it in the spring, the Prague Spring. Is this also in English, known in English as with this term? Yeah, well, he left Czechoslovakia and he went to Germany, I think in the early 70s, if I'm not mistaken, and played for Germany for a couple of years. This game was played in 1961 in the beautiful city or place or town of Bled, near the Lake Bled. If you want a nice destination to visit on your holidays, go to Bled in Slovenia. Yeah, let's look at the game. And we have a sort of King's Indian attack by Petrosian. He played that sometimes, not too often, but it was part of his opening repertoire. So White is just doing his 4 moves up to castling, and he pretty much says, okay, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to set up something with d3 and e4. Yeah, here Pachman also could have opted for a d5 setup like this, or go for a direct approach with e5. He decided to play the move e6, which is perfectly okay, of course. e4, knight e7, and now rook e1 by Petrosian. The black setup is very common. It happens in the English opening, in the closed Sicilian. And of course this opening resembles the closed Sicilian a bit. White has the knight on f3, which is not ideal sometimes. In the closed Sicilian you often have f4 played. Here, however, you don't have knight on c3, which is quite nice sometimes, as you can play with c3. Yeah, black here has a choice. He can play with d5 again. Very popular nowadays, the most popular move nowadays is e5, in fact. Which looks a bit strange because you move the e-pawn twice, but it does make some sense. Black is clamping down on d4, and in this kind of structure the rook is sometimes not ideally placed on e1, as you might want to prepare f4 at some point. Yeah, black here is definitely okay, even with this type of tempo loss. Pachman played castles. This is not very popular among stronger players nowadays, but it seems in fact playable. It's a bit different than e5 because it allows White to play this following move. This looks attractive, I think, because it sort of sets up this advanced pawn that is blocking this bishop. So the bishop on e7 is not that great, and black, I think, needs to immediately make sure that this pawn is going away. You cannot tolerate this pawn for a very long time. If White gets enough time here, he might play something like this bishop h6, trade off this bishop, and play on the king side. Note that the dark squares are already, that there is a tendency that the dark squares might become weak. Pachman played d6. He wanted to, as mentioned, get rid of the pawn. I think this is okay. Knight d2 and queen c7. Yeah, the queen was somewhat unfortunately placed here. for knight e4, knight c4, things like that. Petrosian now plays an interesting move, knight to b3. This is not a very typical place for this piece in this type of structure. Normally you would expect it to go to c4, but knight b3 has a very direct idea. Just take the pawn. Sometimes the simple ideas are also quite interesting. Yeah, it is, however, the case that if black plays precisely now, he still is okay. What Pachman now needed to do was to defend with b6, which looks pretty normal. Yeah, you cover your attack pawn, but it's of course a little bit of a move that you should be cautious with, as you weaken the long diagonal very much. Bishop f4, very logical move. Yeah, and now we see the long diagonal problem. e5 is punished very directly. White wins a pawn and has an excellent position on top. I mean, black will probably lose much more material, as you have a hard time to do something against knight c6 and everything. Looks terrible. So b6, bishop f4, you cannot go e5, so the queen must move. In the original bulletin for this event, I actually have this information here from ChessBase, they had queen b7 as the move, after which knight e5 is just very nice for white. Yeah, you set up this pin, and frankly speaking, I don't really know why queen b7 was suggested, because it looks really awful. However, if black just plays queen d8, which is, yeah, it looks a bit like one move, black played one queen move, another queen move, another queen move again. Yes, that's true, but it's not about what we did before, but what is on the board, and if the position on the board is okay, it doesn't matter that we have moved the queen 3 times. In fact, here black seems to be okay. He has a pretty decent control still over d4, and after let's say knight e5, bishop b7, there is nothing particularly bad happening to black. Or alternatively d4, black can take, white takes, or the other one. Yeah, can also take with this. Maybe this is better, controlling e5, bishop b7, and then we continue from here. Here white does not have anything special. He has an okay position, yeah, but white does not really have any big advantage or something like that. Yeah, Pachman, however, played the move knight to d4. Yeah, I understand that b6 maybe did not seem very attractive to him, but unjustifiably so it seems. But knight d4 really is worse. After that, black is already in serious trouble. Bishop f4, a very simple reply, developing this piece, and well, black really now must do something about the queen. It seems that after the next move, Pachman is already in very big trouble. Here,
check.
This was still possible. It is not very nice, but something like this still seems to be playable for black. Yeah, if we look at this position, white definitely enjoys pressure here on the queen side. We have this knight which might come into the action, not immediately. Yeah, the queen is covering some of those squares, but something like that is definitely better for white. Yeah, note that the pawn on e5 is also blocking the bishop here. So better for white, but black is still yeah, hanging on and can defend. Pachman played queen to b6, moving the queen again. And now after knight e5, we see the big problem with this move. White is intending to play knight c4 with a tempo, and possibly also invading on d6. This whole setup with e6, c5, g6, yeah, it really leaves lots of dark squared weaknesses behind. d6, f6, h6. And this is why it needs to be handled with caution. Now, black really needed to take here. It looks very, very ugly, but you probably needed to do that. Bishop takes, and now f6. This was still a position that black can try to defend. Yeah, note that if white goes here, after something like e5, bishop h6, rook d8, white does not have anything great here. He has two bishops, true, but black also has got a good knight on d4 and a good central position. The bishop lacking on the king side is not such a big deal. You're not going to get mated here. White has no attacking pieces. So probably we should play like that as white. Takes and takes, and now the move c3. This is probably the best continuation that white has at its disposal. Let's say, yeah, after the capture, white is better. Yeah, we have these pawns can advance. e6 is weak. This is quite clearly better for white. So probably knight f5, keeping this pawn for the moment, and then white will take. And here we definitely can assess that white has a small advantage. Yeah, after this, for example. Yeah, white just enjoys this excellent bishop and is somewhat better. But it needed to be played. Pachman took on b3. And now white had a strong intermediate move. He first played knight c4, attacking the queen. Yeah, black queen went to b5. Yeah, we can briefly look at the alternative queen d8. After queen d8, a takes b3. The big problem here is that the c5 pawn is becoming a target for white. White has ideas like bishop d6 and just take it, or even rook a5 and just take it. And black has a really hard time to defend that. If we look at, for example, here black playing knight f5, which looks pretty logical, covering d6, white really can play the strong move rook a5, and we're just going to take this pawn without being punished for that if black is not reacting. Black has this neat little trick, bishop b2, after which white should play the intermediate move queen d2. Yeah, knight b2 was not possible here. Yeah, the rook was hanging, so oops, I'm sorry about that. So let's go back to the line because I'm not yet finished. Yeah, black has this way to hang on for the moment, and now queen d2. Yeah, and now we see with a5 also being protected that after a bishop move forced, we will take, and this is really a very nice position for white. If we look at this, how is black going to develop his queen side? b6, there is this thing hanging. Bishop b7, there's b7 hanging, so you have a hard time to move anything on the queen side. So very nice for white. But this is probably what Pachman should have tried. Would have been hard for him to survive this, but still. Okay, queen b5 was played, and now a takes b. We have the same ideas now. Bishop d6 is in the mix, and here especially rook a5, winning this pawn directly. This is also the reason why Pachman now played the very ugly looking move a5. Yeah, very ugly, but rook a5 was just winning this pawn, so he's keeping at least his material somehow together, that does not want to lose it quickly. Yeah, bishop d6, strong move, attacking the knight, and black went bishop f6. It seems that rook e8 was a little bit tougher, but white enjoys a very good position nevertheless. For example, if we consider a move like bishop c7 here, we see that a5 is hanging 3 times now, or is attacked 3 times, and there is knight d6. Black will not black will not save this probably, but he can hang on. After bishop f6, Petrosian played queen f3. Yeah, and now we see that there are liabilities here. Black really has no other sensible move than king g7. Yeah, and after king g7, here Petrosian had a very strong move that he did not play, and I'm not going to show it to you because I want to show you how the game finished first. He played the move rook to e4. And this move has a very, very clear idea that in fact black cannot really prevent in a way. He played rook d8, and now white was able to finish this game very nicely. If you don't know it, you can try to work out the lines for yourself and treat this as a little puzzle. I'm going to be silent for a couple of seconds so that you can pause it if you want. Okay, yeah, Petrosian now had the very nice move queen takes
check.
f6 check. Queen sacrifice, king takes,
check.
Bishop e5 check, king g5. Yeah, if black goes to f5,
check, check, checkmate.
it will end like that. So king here, and now the quickest way to win was played by Petrosian, bishop g7. Very nice. This is the real big point of it. By if you want fianchettoing the bishop here on g7, white cuts off those important squares. Note that dark squares, the weakened color complex. And after bishop g7, Pachman resigned. Yes, black is mated now. He cannot prevent checkmates. We can look at some lines. Let's say black tries e5 to defend. Then white has h4,
check.
King h5,
check.
rook takes, king g4,
checkmate.
knight e3. Or if he interposes something,
checkmate.
this mate. Very nice. Yeah, that's e5. What else is there? Let's say h5. We go
check.
Here, here, and here.
Checkmate.
Or f5. Sorry. Or f5. We go
check. Checkmate.
with this mate. So very, very nice. Black cannot avoid checkmate now after bishop g7. And Pachman, as mentioned, I think resigned. If we now go back to this position, it is really funny that already here Petrosian could have played this winning combination. It is even possible without the rook being on e4. So queen f6
check.
would have won as well. King takes, bishop
check.
e5 check, king g5, and bishop g7. It's the same point, the same idea. Yeah, black really cannot save his king. It's really remarkable. So let's say, for instance, he moves his rook, then f4 check, king g4. Yeah, this is
checkmate.
very quick. To here,
check. Checkmate.
Very, very nice. I mean, this is a very nice coordination of pieces. Especially beautiful is the bishop on g7. Yeah, what is there for black? It seems that the toughest way to defend is, at least in terms of moves, move count, is queen c6, which looks kind of ridiculous. Yeah, but other things, they don't help. If black, let's say, moves the knight.
Check. Check. Checkmate.
Another mate. Yeah, there are so many nice checkmates. Yeah, yeah. Queen c6 is the longest, the move that hangs on the longest, but of course it still wins, and very nicely with a quiet move. Knight e5. Yeah, okay. Black now can do this desperado sack.
Check.
And play something. Let's say here we go f4, check. King h5, and now the point h3. Yeah, of course white can take the rook and win with the rook up, but h3 is the mate with g4 and checkmate. Yeah, for example, if black plays something like that,
check,
Go.
checkmate,
This mate.
check, checkmate,
Or this mate. Yeah, and yeah, what else is there? Let's say here. Knight f3 check.
check,
King f5, rook e5,
Check.
king g4.
checkmate,
Mate. Yeah, this was even quicker and theoretically speaking also, yeah, better, this this earlier sacrifice, because after rook e4, black could have played something like that, giving up the exchange and avoid the immediate checkmate combination. But of course, this is just a theoretical possibility, as knight d5 is useless. White takes and wins. Yeah, so we have an interesting case where this kind of idea was even working one move earlier, and remarkably working, because you would think that this rook e4 is something that you need to have it working, but white
Check.
really could have taken one move earlier. But it was
Check.
very beautiful this way. Yeah, to win after about 20 moves with a knight f3 g3 type of opening. It's not happening very much, and yeah, doing it with a king hunt is really remarkable. So a very nice win, of course, here for the later world champion, 61. I'm not quite sure about the exact date here. We had I'm just thinking, was it Tal already in 61? Could be Tal or Bodwinnik. I'm not totally sure about those 1960, 61, this period of time. Petrosian at least became world champion in 1963, so about 2 years after this game was played. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little gem. It's a very well-known game, but if you like chess, I think it does not really matter if you see a game a second time or a third time, because it's still beautiful. Yeah? I mean, if you think about it, you probably have listened to your favorite records more than once, so it does not really hurt to see a very, very nice game more than once. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.